Have you ever looked around and wondered how two people can start with the exact same opportunities, yet end up in completely different financial worlds? We're always told it's about luck or who your parents are or some kind of super genius. But what if that's not the real story? What if the real difference isn't what's in their bank account, but what's in their head, their mental operating system? Well, today we're cracking that code wide open. Okay, so let's really get into this. Just picture two friends. They grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, even got jobs with similar paychecks right out of the gate. On paper, they are identical, but you fast forward 10, maybe 15 years and their lives couldn't look more different. One person is completely trapped, living for that next paycheck, drowning in stress about bills. Meanwhile, the other has somehow built this life of total freedom, with their wealth just growing, almost like it's on autopilot while they sleep. How on earth does that happen? Well, the answer is way simpler than you think, but it's going to challenge pretty much everything you've been taught about money. Here's the hard truth. Most of us are running on defective financial software. Seriously, it's like having a brand new computer that's infected with a virus from day one. It's not your fault. It's about being aware of it. You've been handed a program designed for survival, not for wealth. And today, we're giving you the upgrade. So first, we gotta understand how this crappy old programming even gets on your hard drive in the first place. It's not some single event. Oh no. It's a slow, steady process of conditioning that starts when you're a kid. It's a virus designed to limit your financial potential. It all starts with these little phrases. We've all heard them, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Just get a safe, stable job. They sound like good, responsible advice from people who love us. But here's the catch. Each one is a line of code. A financial death sentence that programs your brain for scarcity, teaches you to fear risk, and forces you to play small for your entire life. And then, this programming gets supercharged by the one system that's supposed to prepare us for the real world: school. Think about it. For over a decade, you're trained to follow instructions, memorize facts, and never make mistakes. It's the perfect training ground for creating a great employee, a reliable gear in someone else's machine. But it does absolutely nothing to teach you how to build the machine itself. Okay, so we've seen the buggy software. We know the problem. Now, let's get to the good part. Let's decode the new program. What does the operating system of the wealthy actually look like? It really boils down to a few core differences in their thinking that change literally everything. The first, and maybe the biggest difference, is what they measure. The poor mindset is obsessed with salary. The big question is always, how much do I earn? But the rich mindset, they couldn't care less about salary. They focus on one number, net worth. Their question is, how much do I own? They get it. A high salary can disappear tomorrow, but owning assets that grow, that's real wealth. And this difference bleeds into how they see their free time. For the scarcity mindset, time off is for escape. It's for binge watching, endlessly scrolling, just consuming. For the rich mindset, that exact same block of time is their most valuable asset. The 9 to 5 pays the bills, sure, but they know the real magic happens from 6 to midnight. That's when you build empires by learning, creating, and producing. Now, let's talk about debt, because this is a huge one. Not all debt is created equal. The poor are programmed to use debt for consumption. Things that lose value the second you buy them, like a new car or a fancy vacation. That is consumption slavery. The rich, on the other hand, learn to use debt as a tool, as a weapon. They use strategic leverage, borrowing money to buy assets that grow in value and make them more money, like a business or a rental property. They literally use other people's money to get rich. And look, before you start thinking this is all just some abstract theory, let me show you a real-world example that proves, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that your mindset is infinitely more powerful than your paycheck. This story says it all. On one side, you have Ronald Reed, a janitor and gas station attendant. On the other, Richard Fuscone, a Harvard-educated finance executive making millions a year. Reed lived a simple life, patiently saved his small earnings and invested. Fuscone? He used massive debt to live like a king. The final score, the janitor died with a net worth of $8 million. The executive declared bankruptcy. This was never about being smart. It's about behavior. So how do we build the right behavior? All right, we've diagnosed the virus. Now it's time for the cure. It's time to uninstall that old defective software and install a brand new code for wealth. Here is your actionable 4-step plan to do exactly that. Let's get to the engine of this whole new system. This is the single most powerful, unbreakable rule in all of finance. Pay yourself first. What does that mean? It means before you pay your rent, before you buy groceries, before a single bill gets paid, a chunk of every dollar that touches your hands belongs to your future self. Your future self is your most important creditor. You pay that bill first, always. So what's the number? You want a target? 20%. I know, that might sound steep, but this is the goal. The second your paycheck hits your account, 20% of it needs to disappear. It goes into a separate investment account you don't touch. Then you simply learn to live on the 80% that's left over. It forces discipline and makes your wealth the #1 priority. No excuses. Okay, here it is, your escape plan. Step 1, a mental audit. Write down every single negative thing you believe about money, and then go find evidence to destroy that belief. Step 2, become a producer. Make a violent shift away from consumption. Spend 1 less hour watching Netflix and 1 more hour learning a high-value skill. Step 3, and this is the most important part, automate your wealth. I mean it. Log into your bank today, right now, and set up an automatic transfer. That 20%, or whatever you can start with, gets moved to a separate investment account the day after you get paid, every single time. That one action is more powerful than reading 1,000 books. And finally, step 4, tactical isolation. Your environment is everything. Clean up your social media feeds, distance yourself from people who complain about money. Surround yourself with excellence. So there you have it. The blueprint is right here. You see the traps of the old program, you have the core principles of the new code, and you've got an actionable plan. The curtain's been pulled back. Now, a choice has to be made. I want you to really let this sink in. Wealth isn't some magical place you arrive at one day. It's a formula. It's disciplined behavior. And most of all, it is an unshakable decision to stop just consuming what the world throws at you and start producing systems that serve you instead of you serving the system. Look, knowing this stuff isn't the problem anymore. You have the code. The only variable left in the equation is you. Are you going to take this knowledge and start methodically building your freedom 1 automatic transfer at a time? Or are you going to close this out, go back to the old program, and let the system decide your fate? The decision is brutally and entirely yours.